deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
Have you ever seen a mayor turn local government into a full-blown soap opera? If not, then get ready, because the political chaos in the village of Dalton, Illinois, is a drama you won't want to miss. Picture this: Mayor Tiffany Henyard, not exactly known for her rule following, is in the middle of a fierce power struggle with the Board of Trustees, and things are heating up. With rumors of mismanagement, accusations flying, and even restraining orders thrown into the mix, Dalton's small-town politics are playing out like a real-life reality show.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
So what exactly is going on in Dalton? Let's take a closer look at how Mayor Henyard's public battles with the Trustees have turned ordinary board meetings into chaotic spectacles that residents can't look away from. For months now, the village board meetings have been anything but boring. Instead of simply discussing budgets and policies, these meetings often descend into shouting matches between Henyard and the Trustees, with each side hurling accusations at the other. And in the latest episode of this ongoing saga, Henyard and the Trustees found themselves at odds once again over something as simple as where the board meeting would take place.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing is.
It all went down at a recent Park District meeting, which wasn't any more peaceful than the others. Due to space constraints and the growing number of people interested in watching this drama unfold, the Trustees decided to hold the meeting at the larger Park District venue. But in classic Henyard style, the mayor decided to set up her own meeting elsewhere, claiming that the Park District meeting wasn't legitimate. While the Trustees and residents gathered at one location, Henyard held her own session at Village Hall, with just 2 of her remaining supporters by her side.
Terminate his employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate, right?
Now, why all this fuss over meeting locations? Well, it's not just about logistics, it's also about control. Henyard has been fighting tooth and nail to assert her authority over Dalton, even if it means splitting meetings in 2. Her 2 loyal trustees, Holmes and St. Brown, seem to be the only ones standing by her side at this point, but even that alliance feels shaky. Meanwhile, the other trustees are fed up with what they see as Henyard's reckless behavior. They're determined to stop her from taking over the village unchecked.
Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
But this isn't just a story of conflicting egos. There's also a serious legal angle here. Henyard has been making some bold staffing decisions without the board's approval, appointing her own village manager, attorney, and police chief. So the blatant disregard for the law hasn't gone unnoticed by the courts. Cook County Judge Thaddeus Wilson recently slapped Henyard with a restraining order, essentially blocking her from making any appointments without the board's go-ahead. And he didn't mince words, warning that if her appointees show up at Village Hall again, she could be looking at contempt of court charges.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
Yet, despite this legal slap on the wrist, Henyard isn't backing down. Instead, she's doubling down. She's reportedly continued to hold her own meetings and make decisions as if the judge's order doesn't exist. With such defiance, it's almost as if Henyard is daring the courts to enforce their rulings. What's her end game here? Does she have a strategy, or is she simply trying to maintain control at all costs? For now, it's hard to say, but one thing is clear: Henyard is not going down without a fight.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
And she's not alone in her defiance. Several local figures have been involved in this spectacle, each playing their own role in the drama. There's Stan Brown, the trustee was to be playing both sides, often leaving residents and even fellow board members scratching their heads. Is he a supporter of Henyard, or is he just trying to survive the political storm? Then there's Michael Dotz, a former defense attorney for Henyard, who's found himself embroiled in the controversy. As if that wasn't enough, you've got former employees who, despite being laid off, continue to show up at Village Hall as if nothing happened. Could these be Henyard's last remaining allies, or are they just caught up in the whirlwind?
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
And it doesn't end there. This ongoing saga also involves high-level investigations into Dalton's finances. Henyard's spending has raised more than a few eyebrows, with accusations that she's been using taxpayer money for personal gain. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was even brought in as a special investigator, and her initial findings are nothing short of shocking. A limited review of Dalton's finances revealed a negative balance of over $3.5 million. And there are claims that Henyard has been splurging on lavish dinners, expensive trips, and promotional billboards, all on the taxpayer's dime. And one particularly jaw-dropping expense was a $40,000 Amazon shopping spree that remains unaccounted for.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
But the financial drama doesn't stop there. Federal authorities have taken notice as well. The FBI has been sniffing around Dalton Village Hall, investigating potential financial misconduct. Though they haven't revealed specifics, it's clear that Henyard's handling of village funds is under serious scrutiny. As one resident put it, when is this uneducated criminal going to be arrested? The sentiment isn't isolated. Many in the community are growing increasingly frustrated, feeling that Henyard has been playing fast and loose with their money without facing any real consequences.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
And while all this unfolds, Dalton's residents are left wondering who's actually in charge. With Henyard and the Board of Trustees constantly at each other's throats, there's a real sense that no one is steering the ship. For now, it seems the trustees are trying to take back control, with some of them publicly stating that they're determined to restore order to the village. But with Henyard continuing to buck the rules, it's hard to say how much authority they actually have. So the result? A village government that's teetering on the brink of dysfunction with no clear end in sight.
For a year now, we've been reporting on questionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard, but we only knew half the story.
But the question remains, why is Henyard so determined to hold onto power, even in the face of court orders and public backlash? It seems she's got something to prove, positioning herself as a real boss in the building, as she put it. She's clearly not content with just being the mayor. She wants to be seen as the ultimate authority in Dalton. This determination has led her to ignore legal boundaries and defy the trustees at every turn, but at what cost? The court has already warned her that jail time is on the table if she doesn't start playing by the rules.
So that's one of the reasons I vote no when we go through our board packets. It's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
And just when you think the drama couldn't get any juicier, there's more. Henyard has a history of surrounding herself with controversial figures, some of whom have their own legal troubles. For example, Dalton's former police chief, a close ally of Henyard, was recently indicted on charges of bankruptcy fraud. It's almost as if Henyard has her own inner circle, a group of loyalists who are willing to go down with the ship if it means keeping her in power. But will this loyalty be enough to protect her from the mounting legal and political pressure?
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
There's also the matter of Dalton's financial stability. With accusations of reckless spending in a village fund that's millions in the red, it's clear that Henyard's leadership has come at a high price. Residents are increasingly worried about the future of their village, wondering if the financial mess can be cleaned up. The trustees have taken steps to freeze spending and even laid off some village employees in an attempt to balance the budget. But the road to recovery is long, and many feel that it won't truly begin until Henyard is out of the picture.
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
The chaos has spilled over into the public sphere, too. Residents are fed up, and they're not shy about expressing their frustrations. Many have taken to social media, with comments like her bones will show up for work still. Law enforcement won't do anything to stop it either. She hasn't suffered any consequences for her actions. It's insanity. And with each new revelation, the calls for Henyard's resignation grow louder. But don't expect Henyard to step down anytime she's made it clear that she sees herself as the rightful leader of Dalton, and she's not about to let the trustees or even the courts tell her what to do. And she's even suggested that the media is to blame for her troubles, accusing reporters of focusing only on the negative and ignoring the good she's done for the community. In her view, she's being unfairly targeted by a corrupt system that doesn't want to see her succeed.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
So what's next for Dalton? The tension is at an all-time high, and it feels like something's got to give. With another board meeting just around the corner, residents are bracing themselves for yet another round of drama. Will Henyard finally face consequences for her actions? Or will she continue to defy the courts and cling to power? And with the FBI investigation looming, how much longer can she keep this up? The stakes couldn't be higher, and everyone in Dalton is watching closely. The situation in Dalton is a stark reminder that small-town politics can be just as intense as the big leagues. And as long as Henyard remains in office, it looks like the drama will continue to unfold. So stay tuned, because in this real-life soap opera, the story is far from over. And with every new development, the question on everyone's mind is, Will Henyard finally pay the price for her actions? Or will she somehow manage to escape unscathed once again? If you've got thoughts on this wild ride, let us know in the comments. Do you think Henyard should face legal consequences? Or is she just being unfairly targeted by her opponents? And what do you think is next for Dalton? Will the village ever find its way back to stability? Share your thoughts below. Until next time, keep your eyes on the headlines, because you never know when the next twist will hit.